Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have another commander to cover from Ikoria. This is Kinnan the Prodigy. Now I've got my notes up here because this is a really try-hard commander. So as commander, you're green, blue, and Simic, 2 mana, 2/2, human druid. But whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced, not can produce, that it did produce. In addition, you pay 7 mana, so 5 generic and 1 green and blue. Look at top 5, reveal a non-human from among them, put that creature onto the battlefield, the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. So this commander offers ramp in additional mana on all your non-land permanents, and lets you just cheat creatures in that aren't human. So we don't have any other humans in this deck, it's just your commander's only human. I wanted to do a full artifact build, like using mana rocks and all that, but it leaves you open really early and you can kind of get run through. Weenies are the key, and we've kind of gone off the elf sub theme because mostly 1-drop mana dorks or good mana dorks are in the elf tribe. So we're going to use this to get ahead farther than we should be. We'll cheat in big dumb efficient creatures, and we've got plenty of combos to win the game. This is a competitive commander. So first up, Bass Up Monolith. Just simply infinite generic mana. Just this and your commander and you're on the spot. Because it taps the 3 generic, but because your commander's ability, add 1 more generic onto it. It taps the 4 mana, but pay 3 to untap it. You're just netting infinite mana. So you can use that for many combos in this deck, sync into commander's own ability or other cards later on the track. Your commander lets any mana dork produce 2 mana at least. Compare them to things like Freed from the Real and Penum's Aura, which have pay 1 blue untap the enchanted creature. Lets you create infinite mana of colours on any of your mana dorks. So like Birds of Paradise, for example. Let's say we're tapping for blue, you produce the blue, you add additional blue thanks to your commander, you use 1 of the blue to untap it, and you're netting a blue each time you do it. In addition, we have the Icecrown Scepter combo with Dramatic Reversal. This pair's been seeing a lot in Magic lately, but on its own, it can do other things. As a pair, you just use it to untap all your permanents for infinite mana through your mana dorks and mana rocks. But the Scepter on its own, put counter spells or cantrips underneath, have a good time. Or the Reversal on its own, have a turn of extra mana. Now I didn't want to do Sushi Hulk or even try and go down that line, because don't like that deck myself, but the Triton Hero and the Oracle are just too good not to put in here. The Triton Hero, you can pay 4 mana, you can scry 1, real top card, if it's a land into play, if not, draw it. If you've got infinite mana from any of your mana dorks of Bass Up Monolith, you can use this to rip through your entire library, get every land out, and draw as many cards as you want. And then you can play something like Bass's Oracle, where if your devotion to blue is greater than what's left in your library, you just win on the spot. I didn't want to put Jason here, no Laboratory Maniac, no Flash, no Protein Hulk, I didn't want to go down that way. But if you want to, you totally can, but your friends will hate you. Now, for the nature of the deck being tons of mana dorks and mana rocks, having good untap mechanics are essential. Seedball Muse lets you untap everything on each turn. This lets you activate your commander's ability on your opponent's turn, and it can make them think about what they're doing. Similar idea with Intruder Alarm, untaps all creatures every time another creature enters the battlefield. Everything gets alert and awake. So your mana dorks, if you've got enough out, can become a huge threat for your opponent because you can keep activating them multiple times in a turn. For deck manipulation, it is a thing you can do with the commander considering you do care about it. But I feel like Scroll Act's really the only way you need to go, because you can just pay 1 mana, take X cards from your hand, draw X cards, and put those cards you set aside back on top of your library. Mainly so you can either try and get rid of junk, but put things from your hand back onto your deck that you can cheat in with your commander. That'd be the best way to do it, I think. So if you have an Eldrazi card in your hand or something, move it back onto your library and play it. So other than infinite combos, how you're going to win, you're going to smash the head in. Both copies of Ulamog are great here because they're indestructible and a pain to remove. The Ceaseless Hunger eats 20% of their library every time it attacks. The Infinite Guy, every time it attacks, you have to sacrifice 4 permanent thanks to Annihilator. If you cheat these things out early enough thanks to your commander's explosive starts, which we'll explain later on, your opponent might not even be able to do anything, they just surrender. I love the Either Betrays because it works well with Infinite Gaia. I love the sacrifice it, now it's mine kind of sub-theme, just my greedy blue nature coming in. In addition, Blightsteel Colossus, just 1 shot, 1 kill. You can remove this if your play group doesn't like Infect, and I would understand why, but I want to try and just one-touch someone if I can. And Creative Behemoth works quite well with all your mana dorks. You have a lot of little creatures, buff them all up and just try and crush them. Speaking of those little guys, elves everywhere. You got Land of War, you got Elvish Mystic, Finnhorn Elves, and Boreal Druid. All of them tapping for green or a generic in the case of the Druid's case. Remember to add your commander's ability on top, so these little 1-drops can tap for 2 mana. You got Incubation Druid, which on its own, just any colour of a land you control. If it adds a counter up to 3, but with your commander's effect, it's producing 4 mana. Bloom Tender, having your commander out, can let you just tap for 2 mana on the spot, plus 1 extra because of your commander's ability. Things like Paradise Druid are an elf that can toggle its hexproof on and off as you use it. Elvish Harbinger can tutor out for another elf, so another mana dork, and itself can tap for mana. And because you have quite a few elves there just in the mana dork slot, We run Priest of Titania and Elf Archdruid, which tap equal number of elves in play, plus Archdruid does give you a bit of a buff to help keep them alive. Into non-elves, we have the Marrowleaf Pixie, which is a 2-mana 2/2 with flying that can tap for you 2 colours. Great all round. Sylvan Caryatid is just a big fat butt. Defender, hexproof, tap for any colour, your opponent has to remove it if they can. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Birds of Paradise, any colour you need. Ikora's Follower. Doesn't produce mana itself, but can untap other mana producing abilities, which on some of the mana rocks can be really strong later on. Now, Ancient Bloom Nyx is such a monster in Commander. Triple mana production, can get out of hand, and you can just start firing Commander's ability off quick as you can. Your opponent has to answer that, or you're going to win. I love Krufix God of the Horizons. I love that it's a living mana battery. Your mana doesn't go away or disperse in between phases or end of turn, it just turns into colorless and it can carry over from turn to turn to turn. I like to put counters on the God here just to track it, but if you're about to lose your commander, you can tap all your mana sources and convert it into colorless mana, hold it on the God, that we can recast your commander's tax even easier or another big spell later on. Right, onto mana rocks. There's plenty of dumb ones in this deck. The combination between these and your commander are very strong. Let's take Lotus Petal for example. It's a freebie, you tap it, you sack it, you add 1 mana to your pool, but because you did tap it for mana, your commander sees it and it can produce an extra mana. So 0 mana, 2 mana back, love it. But you can use it on turn 1 to try and cast your commander turn 1. Mox Amber has finally found its home. It's had a bit of trouble trying to find home because you need to have legendary creatures or planeswalkers out for it to work. But with Commander, you get it out, your Commander enters up any point, the Amber's online, it can produce 2 mana for nothing. I'm trying to make the Honor Worn Chaku work. It just taps for a generic at 3 mana, but you can tap an untap legendary permanent to untap it. So I'm thinking your Commander itself, because your Commander doesn't need to ever tap at any point, or planeswalkers, that we can get 2, 4, 6 mana in a turn out of this artifact. Sol Ring is greedy. 3 mana production thanks to your Commander, gonna have it. Mana Vault is crazy good. With Commander out, it's a 1 mana artifact that can produce 4 mana. Use this really early on for your first activation of your ability. Try and cheat something really good into play. You might hit an Eldrazi or something, you might even win on the spot. Thran Dynamo is a mana rock for 4 that can now produce 4 thanks to your Commander. If you've got the money, Mana Crypt is a pretty good upgrade from Mana Vault, or just to include in the deck. A 0 mana artifact tapping for 3 mana thanks to Commander is pretty nutty. At your 2 mana slot, we run our 2 diamonds and our Arcane Signet. There's our colour production there. Simic Signet produces both colours at the same time, but the way the command is worded, it will result in either double green blue or double blue green in terms of production. Mindstone ends up producing double generic and you can sack it to draw a card. Similar with the Sphere, you can produce double colour if you need to and sack it to draw a card. The Great Henge, you might not get much of a reduction being the nature of the weenies in the deck, but when it is on board, produces 3 green, you gain 2 life, and all your non-tokens let you draw a card. That's pretty powerful. Onto support, I really want to make the Leyline of Abundance work. Like all ley lines, if it's in your opening hand, it's mental. It lets you produce extra green every time you tap a creature for mana. So in some cases, Lana War Elf can produce 3 mana. It's a bit nuts. But if you get it mid-late game, it won't do too much. Biomancer's Familiar is here just for your commander's ability to reduce it by 2, making it a total of 5 to activate. That's pretty scary. Oko, he's not really legal anywhere else but Commander, but let's play with him while we can. He does a lot. He creates you tokens if you need to. You can convert those tokens into creatures or convert their creatures into not as good creatures, or you can start stealing things or exchanging things on the board. Worldly Tutor is the tutor made for this commander. You can search your library for any creature, put on top of your library, you can activate Commander and then cheat it into play. Probably best for your big smash creatures like Blightsteel Colossus or one of your Eldrazi. Beast Whisperer just lets you draw cards every time you cast 20 creatures. Simple. Nature's Claim, Return to Nature, just good removal for artifact enchantments. Cyclonic Rift is just a good card, of course. It's your blue board wipe. Needs a reprint, it is getting expensive. I remember when they were $5 at one point. And remember, you can put this under the Scepter if you want to, Isochron. With our counterspells, Muddle the Mixture is just a good counterspell, it's handy, but it can also transmute for other things, so maybe Cyclonic Rift or Dramatic Reversal if you're trying to set up the combo. Counterspell, Swan Song, and Negate are just other good counterspells to have. Everything here you can throw under the Scepter if you want to, just to make your opponent cry a little bit more. Have a better draw here. I love the Probe. I'm never paying the mana, I'll pay the 2 life all day long. I love Preordain. I like scrying 2 then drawing, because it works quite well with our commander trying to get the junk off the top of the library. Brainstorm lets you put cards from your hand back on top of your library so you can cheat them with your commander. One of Mind might as well be a cantrip in this deck. If you have a non-human and a human, you may pay only 1 mana to cast it for drawing 2 cards. Your commander is only human and everything else is a non-human. Easy. And for your big draw, Windfall makes everyone discard their hands, and everyone draws equal to the greatest number of cards discarded this way. The nature of our deck is we should get rid of our hand pretty quick, lots of mana rocks and dorks early on, so it should thin our hand down pretty quick, and we can use this to kind of make people annoyed and disrupt their game plan and let us redraw up to a nice healthy amount. I love Jin Taxis. The guy is an absolute beast. Use your commander to bring him in, cheat him in at the end of their turn, just before the discard. He reduces their hand by 7, so they've got to pretty much discard their hand. And then at your turn you draw 7 cards. Absolute monster. If you're drawing 7 cards, you should be able to play most of your hand. And protection. Your commander is competitive and key to the deck, so protect it if you can. Both pairs of booties here for your commander or other key creatures. And Helm of the Host. Remember, redundancy is a form of protection. Having multiple copies of your commander at least lets your game plan continue on. And I think the ability of mana production with your commander does stack multiple times. If not for your commander, use it on other mana dorks and establish a good board presence. For other ramp, Kodama's Reach and Cold Weight just for basics. Simple, we have enough mana creatures in this deck and mana rocks, don't need any more. And for the lands, Wirewood Lodge works actually really well. Just pay 1 green, untap an elf. If you've got one of your greedy mana dorks up, let's say Elvish Arch, draw it and it's tapping for 4 mana. Being able to untap it again through a land is pretty good. Castle Garenbrig lets you filter 4 mana into 6 just for creature or creature abilities. That pays majority of your commander's ability right out there. Ancient Tomb is expensive for a single land at nearly 35, but that aggressive start can be an absolute blowout for your opponents. Wreck Tower, things like Jintaxis or the draw, you do need a bigger hand size or no hand size at all if you can. Temple of False God is great medium late game. Evolving Wild and Terramorphic just for getting the basics out. Command Tower, any colour you need of course. As for your colours, I didn't feel the deck needed a fetch and a shock land. I'm not going to put $80, $85 worth of lands for not even a percentage improvement really in this deck. Yavimaya Coast, which is your pain land. We've got the Harbour for our buddy land. We've got the Grove as our filter land. The Temple for our temple land. We've got our life gain land and our horizon land. Honestly, between these and your basics, colours shouldn't really be an issue because all your mana dorks and mana rocks as well. And then for basics, we've got 8 islands and 10 forests. And that's it for the Prodigy. This is a competitive Simic commander. It is strong, it is quick, it's low to the ground, it's aggressive, it cheats big dumb creatures in, it turns these janky little 10-cent mana dorks into huge threats for your opponents to do. It has very interesting interactions with mana rocks, it's things like Lotus Petal and Sol Ring and that, or bloody Mana Vault and Mana Crypt getting real aggressive, and it has lots of combo potential in it. It's a cool commander. Future upgrades would be just looking at things, mana dorks or new mana rocks printed in the future that could go into the deck and make it more efficient. It is a definitely sweaty commander, so let me know your thoughts guys. How are you wanting to build it? I know some people are trying to do artifact build like I did. Elf theme, full elf tribal could be a thing. I've done a bit of like a half elf tribal theme in the deck just because it kind of occurred. So yeah, let me know your thoughts guys and have a good one. Goodbye. So if you guys enjoyed that video and thought that commander was pretty sweaty, give the video a like, it helps out the channel a lot, pushes it through YouTube's algorithm so more people can see it. And if you're not a sub, please consider it, only 10% of my viewers are. And to my patrons, do you think this might be the sweatiest commander in the set so far for Ikoria? And thank you guys for your support.